Welcome to the second night of Lot, or second night of the Oracle. The meaning of this particular night from 29th of November till 30th of November is love, connection, and oneness. You could also call it the night of love, connection, and oneness. Hello, my name is Aditya Novotny. I'm a researcher, really, you could say. I've been meditating for 43 years. I've been working with essential oils for more than 16 years now, and I'm always on the lookout of old treasures, old traditions, old knowledge that has been nearly lost in today's modern age. And the Knights of Lot are such a thing. Many people nowadays have heard about the Holy Nights, the 12 Holy Nights from winter solstice, that is 21st of December, till 6th of January. Even some people know that these Holy Nights, or Rauhnächte, as they are called, Rauchnächte, so smoke nights, because there's been a lot of smoking of sage or frankincense or myrrh to cleanse the atmosphere, to create a field. Many people know about this nowadays. Few have done it, but the Knights of Lot or Oracle Nights are even less known. And I found them only 3 years ago. They are an 2,500 years old tradition among Celtic seers, among Druids, also among Germanic medicine men or also wise women, and even such traditions existed in the ancient Slavic traditions, well before Christianity started 500 years later. As always, Christianity adopted these special nights and put the names of saints on top of it to Christianize it, because all these old things, all these old traditions, they were so powerful. Even Christmas is a form of the winter solstice, the new light is born. They are so powerful that Christianity could not eradicate them, but they transformed them for their purposes. They put their traditions on top. That's, by the way, the same thing with churches or even temples. There's been always special places in the country, on a mountain, near a sea or a river, that were so called power places. And people have gone to these places. They have a special power. They give you special boons, so to say. People went to these places to take blessings, to take a quickening, to take an energy, to get insights. And then, of course, a strong religion came like Christianity or other traditions, and they put a temple on top of these places or a church on top of these places. Same thing happens, of course, with time, with points in time, not just with geographical places or geomantic places. And in time, of course, these are, as we see here, I'll make the picture larger, the Knights of Lot or Holy Knights, excuse me, precursor of the Holy Knights. Here I am still, and they are in preparation of the essential Holy Knights. Today is the second night, the night of love, connection, and oneness in Christianity, in honor of Saint Andrew. I'll tell you a little bit about him. And these 6 nights are in the silent time or Advent time, as called in Christianity, when people stayed more or less in their houses. In the old days, there was, on the one hand, not much to do. On the other hand, it was cold in those days. And they stayed at home near the fireplace, and they were telling each other stories, and they were thinking about what would the future bring, what would the new year bring, because even way back 2500 years ago, people were already aware of winter solstice, and that the light would shine stronger starting with winter solstice, and that the new year basically would start. Also, as experienced by many in these olden days, the nights from 13th to 20th of December are the darkest. The exactly longest night, of course, is from 20th to 21st of December, but in the perception of the people, once winter solstice were, the new light, the new energy was coming. So, especially these last days, the fifth night of Lot, night of Saint Lucia, and the sixth night of Lot, the night of Saint Thomas, as it's called by Christianity, they were conclusion of these six particular nights of the oracle. So, why oracle? Because in those nights, and I have to say days, because it always starts at sunset of, in this case, 29th of November and goes till sunset of 30th of November. So it's basically not just the night, but also the day that follows. And they discovered that in these six particular nights, 24th to 25th, the night of new beginnings, going inside, finding your strength to start anew, 29th to 30th of November, the night of love, of connection, of oneness. 3rd to 4th of December, the night of hope and protection. 5th to 6th of December, excuse me, 5th to 6th of December, Saint Nicholas, who was actually a precursor of Santa Claus. Even the name Santa Claus was taken from Saint Nicholas. And of course, as you well know, Santa Claus is an invention of the Coca-Cola company, perfectly done for marketing purposes. But the ancient roots go much deeper. Because in this night, a lot of divination could be done, 5th to 6th. You could read from the book of fate or the book of justice, or you could say the book of karma. And Christianity, of course, put Saint Nicholas, one of their saints, on top of it, and he now comes to the little children to read to them what they have done good in the year past and what they have done not so good. And then he would reward them or be a little strict with them and admonish them to do better in the next year. But there is a deeper meaning in the night of Saint Nicholas. We will come to that in a few nights' time. Then, when the nights are the darkest, Saint Lucia, very amazing young woman who brought the light. She's especially loved and venerated in Scandinavia, where, of course, you have always even tougher winters than in more southern regions. And that is the night of darkness from which everything comes into existence. Light came out of an unknown darkness, and the whole creation took place. And what does it mean, darkness today? What does it mean for you personally? It has to do a little bit also with your shadows, that you can transform and make a beacon of light out of them. What many people do not know, your worst quality is your best quality. Your worst quality is your best quality. So, the last night, the night of end, the old year definitely ends in the on the 20th of December to 21st of December, at least astronomically, and the new year starts with winter solstice. And I'm going to have a live stream or a video if you see it later on all these occasions and give you the rituals. We will, on the one hand, use essential oils that are poignant and specially apt for these particular nights and their meanings. Today we have love or joy, as this blend is called, and we have the blend of surrender. More on that later. But also, what is important in these nights of Lot, and by the way, Lot comes not from lottery, but lottery comes from the lot. And what is the lot? Lot is fate. You could also call it the nights of fate or oracle nights, because in these nights the veil is thin, the veil to the other world. the veil to the inner world, to the beyond, the veil to the causal world, but also to the world of ideas, as Platon called them. And people would remember, they were in their houses, it was cold, they were around the fireplace, they were gazing outside, and some of the courageous ones, or the priest, the priestess of the village, the shaman, if you like so, or the wise woman of the particular place would go out into the forest to a tea crossing. And this is what we can do even nowadays. I did it already. It's a fantastic experience. Why? Because the forests are empty. There is nobody there to bother you. It's too cold for most people. At least I'm speaking about the northern hemisphere. And if you live in a big city and you go out into a park, let's say Central Park in New York City, the experience might not be so nice, although winter nights probably also you won't have many people there. But really, if you are able, go out into the forest, maybe drive with your car a little bit, go a path till you come to a T crossing, and then just stop there and gaze into the darkness or gaze to the firmament. I usually gaze a little bit above the tree line, and after a while, your visual perception might change and you might see things. And I'm not indicating like crazy people seeing things. You might hear things. It's a special way of also listening to the flow of time, or better to say, the flow of life. Because what you will experience on this T crossing, there is a stream. You stay on the service road basically, and you just let that other road from left to right, that's usually the perception, just feel what stream is there, what flow is there. Also, some people, they do not see anything, they do not hear anything, but they feel something empathically, intuitively. And really, in these nights, you get a download. You get information that you would otherwise not get, information that pertains to the coming year and that you are finalizing, because you should write down some things that you are gathering in these nights of Lot. You are preparing already for the 12 holy nights. And I will give, of course, also this year, already the seventh year, the series of the 12 essential holy nights from 21st of December till 6th of January. Registration is now open. But let's first look into these nights of Lot. So you're still at the T crossing. Well, please dress warmly because it's cold out there, and you want to stay 15 to 30 minutes and really become silent and really see, feel, listen, and just gather what is there. And then you don't turn around and go away, but you step back 30 steps before you turn around and go back to your car or bicycle. Or if you're living already close in nature, maybe you walk back home the whole way. It's also a nice winter walk, but then bring some headlamp with you, or at least use your modern device and put on the lamp. Now, why would you go backwards? I mean, we know that only from, addressing a majesty, a king, a queen, an emperor, and then you would go back like that out of respect. This is not the case here. It is that you connected to the flow of life, to the flow of destiny, and you don't want to rupture this intuitive connection. So you're stepping back very gently, slowly, and only after about 27 to 30 steps, you will feel the connection slowly fades, but you have it, you keep it. And now you turn around and go back to your car. Now you will say, okay, what happens if I don't have a forest nearby? I'm living somewhere in the prairie. Well, you could do it also in the prairie. No trees are needed. Should be a T crossing if possible. But if you live in a big city, then don't necessarily do it in the park, because really there could be some strange people there. even if it's cold, but do it from your balcony or do it from your window and just gaze into the sky for 15 to 30 minutes. And it's nice, of course, if the window is open so you really take in the fresh air. Don't leave it open too long, or if you stay on the balcony, then really dress up nicely and see what you will see. See what you will hear, see what you will feel. You might be surprised. When you come back, if you're journaling, if you have a diary, there is definitely some things that will flow out of your pen. Some people write a lot because it's a kind of download of information. As I say, this is kind of a portal night where you get a connection to the causal plane and to the world of divine ideas or creation energies. You get already a touch, a glimpse of what is going to be. And this is why they're also called the Oracle Nights or Nights of Fate. As there are six of those, and each of these 6 nights has a different theme. First night already passed, 24th to 25th of November, but you can still look up the video. And now we have the night of love, connection, and oneness. And love is a theme dear to all human beings because we all looking for love. We're all looking for connection. And eventually we're all looking for oneness, for becoming one. And there are small ways of becoming one, like with another person. There is much bigger ways of becoming one, even on a universal scale, on a mystical scale. And that's up to you, really, whether it's more a personal affair, maybe it's just a romantic endeavor. That will be definitely helped in this particular night, 29th to 30th of November. Or it's really like Unio Mystica, like mystic union, experience of universal love, experience of divine love. And like this, I will also give live streams, and later you will see it as recorded videos on the other 4 nights that are still coming up. But now let us have a look into this particular night in Christianity. It is dedicated to Saint Andrew because Saint Andrew was like the most representative of the apostles of Jesus Christ or disciples of Jesus Christ who embodied the quality of love like none other. And he was called Saint Andrew the first called because he was really the first called to become a disciple of Jesus. Actually, his master was John the Baptist. And John the Baptist told Saint Andrew, there is another man who is much greater than me. His name is Jesus of Nazareth. And I want you to go to him and become his disciple. And his byname became the one who brings people to Jesus, because amongst others, he brought Saint Peter to Jesus. Saint Peter, by the way, was his brother, Simon Petrus. Simon Petrus, Simon Peter. Actually had a double name. It's not the other Simon, who was just called Simon, but it is the one who is called Saint Peter nowadays. And St. Peter became very important for the whole Western Christianity, Catholic, Protestant, evangelical. And St. Andrew, who went east, he became the big one for the Eastern Church, the Greek Orthodox, Ukrainian Orthodox, Romanian Orthodox, Russian Orthodox Church, because he traveled eastwards. And he missionized eastwards after Jesus' passing. It's interesting, however, that there was a particular place in the West which also took St. Andrew as a patron saint, and that is Scotland. Because of St. Andrew's cross, you know, these white in the blue, on the blue background, and that comes actually from the way later on St. Andrew was crucified. Like several of his colleagues, they suffered quite a tough death. And that means his brother, St. Peter, he was even um, crucified upside down in Rome. So here we have the one who, for whatever reason, the Scots people chose as their patron saint, but usually it's Greece, Romania, Ukraine, Russia that have them and that have St. Andrew's cross. Andrew of Bethsaida on Lake Gennesareth was the brother of Simon Peter and, like his brother, was a fisherman. The Gospel of St. John reports that Andrew was first a disciple of John the Baptist, who then directed him to Jesus, whereupon he also led his brother Simon to Jesus with the message, "We have found the Messiah." This is why he's also called the first called. He brought his brother St. Peter to Jesus. Andrew stands for love, connection, solidarity, and he led many people to divine love through Jesus Christ, through the heart of Jesus. The higher meaning of love is oneness. Eventually, you wish to become one with God. I and my Father are one, as Jesus said. This is something we are actually looking for, any human form of union. We are looking for real oneness, fulfilling oneness. And this is Unio Mystica, mystical union. This is Samadhi in yoga. This is Bardo states, or uh, forgot how they are called in Zen Buddhism, um, trance states, where you become one with the Buddha nature, where you become one with the Brahman, with the higher consciousness, with the absolute consciousness. And this is known also in Taoism. You become one with the Tao, with the principle consciousness that rules the whole universe. Or you find it even in Hawaii, it's in the aloha and it's in the ha, the breath, the life breath. And you find it in North American Native Indians, Manitou, the great spirit. So, however you call it, that's like the big mystical union to become one with the divine. Love is the way, whether to human beings, by the way, whether even to big success, because people who have huge success, they always love what you do. They love what they do and they become so engaged and sometimes obsessed that they become really successful. If you think of Elon Musk or other people, they are very dedicated. People look at anyone who has achieved major success, they love what they do and they dedicate themselves fully. I will show you in a few moments how the love oil or joy oil blend, originally it was called love, helps you to reach that state, and then surrender really helps you to really dedicate yourself, a positive surrender, not an abandon, but giving yourself up to. The root of surrender is surrendersi from Italian, so to give yourself up to give yourself up to the divine guidance or the cosmic guidance. Let's go back to St. Andrew. The higher meaning of love is oneness. That's what was also his object, to bring people to divine love through Jesus and thereby bringing them to the Father. He's the patron saint of lovers and married couples. His symbols are the X shaped cross on which he was crucified, the cross of St. Andrew, and also the apple, the fruit of paradise. By the way, this was never mentioned in the Bible. There is no apple. It's actually, if you know the story, another fruit that's much closer to the grapefruit, which is a hybrid between pamplemousse and bitter orange, but a fruit that was in the Garden of Eden. And also the story of Adam and Eve was later redacted, you could say, to make a certain frame out of it, a certain story out of it, which is good for indoctrination. So it's not really the apple, although you see, well, I'm on top of it. Let's see if I can change the camera angle. Yeah, you see this statue holding this fruit. These are the two symbols of St. Andrew, the cross and the apple, if you wish, the paradise fruit that brings you, if you eat it, to divine oneness. And it grew on the tree of knowledge. Later on, it was made out of the knowledge of good and evil. So basically, dualism. And I'll speak about dualism and how you can overcome dualism and judging in a moment because I have an oil for that. But the real paradise fruit brings you to oneness and to complete fulfillment. And this is the fruit that grew on the tree of knowledge, the divine knowledge, standing in the Garden of Eden. Andrew means the male, so he was very male. Don't think he was a soft guy, a gentleman, just because his whole life's purpose was love. He was really totally pervaded by love and he brought other people. He was actually magnetic because he had such a love energy inside him and around him. Love makes you magnetic. And he has a reference to Freyre in the Norse mythology. Freyre, the male god, whose sister is Freya. And Freya appears not only in the Nordic religions, Freya appears in Rome as Venus, also before Christianity already. Freya appears as Aphrodite in Greece. And it's quite interesting. I mean, Greece and Rome had a cultural and physical connection with each other. They are both Mediterranean cultures. But the North, that was took a time, a few hundred years. We're speaking about a time of 2,500 years ago when these ancient Germanic, ancient Celtic, ancient Slavic tribes were already practicing the Knights of Lot or knew about that. And Freya or Freyre, her brother, is basically the symbol for what Christianity interpreted as this is the night of Saint Andrew. And in Rome, it would be Venus. In Greece, it would be Aphrodite in their capacity to be the givers of love and marriage. Now, there's something very important, something I didn't mention to you yet, and that is the night of St. Andrew is particularly important for love. Any dream that you have in this night from 29th to 30th of November, write it down if you remember it, because there are clues, there are hints by fate, by the divine guidance for you. So it's ideal if you have the oils to do before you sleep and before you go to the tea crossing or sit on the balcony or gaze into the firmament. First thing, if you have these oils, work with the oils in a way I will describe you in a moment. Secondly, go out in nature or gaze out into the sky 15 to 30 minutes to really gather information, gather downloads. And then, thirdly, write down what just comes out of your pen. You might discover that it's really the words are flowing out of your pen because there are important informations coming to you in this particular night. And then, when you go to sleep, ask that you will dream consciously. You will be already in a special state by working with the oils, by doing the gazing into the nature, and then by writing. And then hopefully in the morning, you will still have memory of the dreams you had in that night, and then write it down because there are some clues that you get in this particular night in the dreams. Because it is said, nights dreamt in St. Andrew's night come true. So write them down immediately before you forget them. In this night, you may receive a hint about your future lover. For lovers that have already found each other, St. Andrew's night is the night of renewing and deepening their love. So both is possible. New love will come into your life, may come into your life, or the existing love will become deeper if you follow the indications, the hints that you get in St. Andrew's night. How does that sound? Now let's work with the oils. As I said, this could be the first step before you go out in nature or gaze out into the skies. This could be before you write down things that came to you, and then before you lie down and dream and write down then your dreams. Joy is an oil blend that was created by Gary Young, the founder of Young Living Essential Oils. If you ask me why am I using Young Living and not other oils, there's famous other brands. In my experience, they are not only as pure as can be, but they are the most concentrated. Even one of the big rivals of Young Living, I spoke with several of their representatives. They say, oh, the Young Living oils are too strong. We have softer oils. Well, actually, their oils are more diluted in my perception because when I use a drop of this particular brand, usually I need 3 drops of the other brand. Or in Europe, we have also a few famous brands, both in Great Britain, also in Germany and in France. And usually these are very fine oils, but usually even 1/5 as concentrated as Young Living essential oils. But that's a personal perception, so forgive me for even mentioning it. Up to you to decide, up to your nose to make the distinction. So Gary Young first called this oil blend love. And it became a little bit slippery because different people have different ideas of love. So love poison, love potion, and well, other slippery ideas about love. So Gary Young soon renamed this blend into Joy by 1993. This blend was called Joy. It contains floral oils such as jasmine, ylang ylang, geranium, and rose, as well as citrus oils such as bergamot, lemon, and mandarin to create the perfect floral and citrusy aroma that can lead to an experience of love, magnetic attraction, and connection. Now, you see me already holding the bottle close to my nose all the time. What I'm doing here is, even while I'm speaking, aromatic breathing. And if you're a beginner in aroma praxis, then breathe from the bottle 1 to 3 minutes in a concentrated fashion. Is one of the strongest form of working with an essential oil. If you're an advanced aromatherapist, do the same for 3 to 5 minutes and feel into your body what reacts. Where does the oil go? Is there some parts of your body going into resonance? What do you feel in the body? And sometimes you get really clear signals, let's say from your right knee, and then you just put the particular oil on the right knee because it's your body communicating to you, okay, please put this oil on my right knee. And of course, in your case, it will not be your right knee, it might be another part of your body, but do it, you'll be surprised. Not only with aromatic breathing, you can have physical impressions, physical signals, it could be also emotions that come up that become much clearer to you, much more perceptible to you. But it could be even some thoughts that come because, after all, by doing aromatherapy, by breathing directly from the bottle, it goes from the olfactory receptors in your nose to your limbic system, to your mystical parts of the brain, like amygdala, to higher parts of your brain, like pineal gland and epiphysis, and how is it called in English? Not thyroid, that's in the neck, well, the one behind the eyes. Pineal gland is a little further behind, and then that one. These two higher endocrine glands, they are also positively affected by breathing with an essential oil, depending, by the way, also on which oil it is. Now, oils also work on chakras. This particular oil has a very high frequency of 188 hertz in the base octave and 188 megahertz in a higher octave. So you would take a drop out of the bottle. I'll make my picture bigger so you can see it. Just put it on my hand. Activate it clockwise, one, two, three. Apply it on your heart chakra primarily because this is about love. But because joy has such a high frequency, you can put it on all seven chakras, but even minor chakras like hand chakras, foot chakras, and so on. And you'll just sit there and let the oil and the frequency of the oil do the work. And you will feel it has to do with love, it has to do with joy. It really permeates you and transforms you. Now, you can also put it behind your ears because, as I said, it can make you very attractive, very magnetic. So, I know some women, they exclusively use joy as a perfume, much better than alcoholic synthetic perfumes that are typical, that make you get a headache. Really, a very natural scent that combines with your body's scent and that makes you absolutely irresistible. There's a reason why Joy Blend will make you irresistible. One of these reasons is jasmine, because jasmine is not only the flower, one of the 10 ingredients of this oil blend, the flower that in yoga is used to cleanse the heart chakra, to purify the heart from sticky emotions, from heavy emotions. Like sometimes you have a heavy heart that pulls you down. Jasmine really is purity flower. It purifies you. But jasmine has another meaning, and that is has been well known by Cleopatra. Cleopatra was bathing in milk and honey. Actually, she was bathing in donkey milk and she put jasmine oil inside. So the donkey milk or the milk and honey, they were just emulsifiers. As you know, if you are in the water, you need something to emulsify the oil. And she became so attractive that she caught many men, even two of the major male personalities in her time. One of them was Julius Caesar, and they couldn't resist her. Now, joy also contains rose, and rose is, of course, the flower of divine love or highest human love, and it uplifts the spirit. Also, Joy Blend contains, besides jasmine and rose, it contains geranium. Now, geranium is an interesting flower. It's also working on the heart, but it also works on your judgmentalness. So some people, they always, oh, this is bad. Oh, this I like, this is good. I want to have this. So they are caught in dualism. There's two big divisions, let's say. One is polarity, but polarity is natural. Yin and yang is natural. Summer and winter is natural. Darkness and night, light is natural. Male and female is natural. That's polarity. Has to be differentiated from dualism because dualism comes from the human mind, the way we think about things. William Shakespeare once famously said, things as such are neither good nor bad. Our thinking makes them appear so. Things as such are neither good or bad. Our thinking makes them appear so. So basically, we create this idea of this is favorable and this is totally unfavorable and bad. We make it up in our mind, in our judgment. Even with people, sometimes you say this is a bad person, even if it is not a bad person. Everyone has some weaker sides, of course, but it doesn't mean he or she is a bad person. But you are judging, or I am judging, or most people are judging. Maybe you are beyond judgmentalness. Now, geranium has this great quality to make you go beyond judging. And that means to go beyond either this or that, or else. Either this is good, or that, well, that's maybe not so good. That's typical dualism. Geranium helps you to upgrade yourself into as well as. As well as means you take this and you take that. Because sometimes you do not even know if this is really good and this is really bad. Sometimes good things turn out to have not so good results or consequences. Sometimes bad things have really good consequences. So how shall you know at one point in time? Now, if you are beyond dualism, if you are beyond judgmentalness, if you are beyond either or thinking, and if you are grounded in as well as, you take the whole. And in life, we get the whole or holistic experience, and we sometimes don't know what is it good for, but it is always good for something. I'll take you a step further with the next oil. That's enough for the moment about geranium, a very important oil, a flower oil. Then it also contains ylang ylang, and ylang ylang has to do with the polarity. Ylang ylang balances your yin and yang energies, your male and female energies. And it has bergamot, which has a deep, calming, and satisfying aroma. Bergamot, citrus fruit, that is also used, the aroma is also used in Earl Grey tea, which makes people who love Earl Grey just wishlessly happy. With such powerful oils, it is no surprise that joy, previously called love, is a favorite, inspiring romance oil with its indulgent spa like aroma. For me, actually, it doesn't smell like spa. It really smells like the future. It smells like the fresh and sweet things that are to come and might be your experience. And you smell it the first time, you say, "Is that possible? This is incredible." It feels like something that is not there yet. Joy creates a joyful and happy fragrance experience when applied to the wrists and to the heart. We spoke about applying it to the heart chakra already. And of course, a powerful perfume when you apply it behind your ears. And it makes you magnetic and strengthens your aura if you apply it on all the seven main chakras. So, this could be a way if you have that oil blend ready, you start this night. Before then, you go on the balcony or gaze out of the window or go into the forest to the tea crossing, and before you write down things later on and before you go to sleep. And then be watchful. What dreams do you have in this night? Because dreams dreamt in this night become true. Let's have a look at the second oil blend because it goes even a step further. If you really want the consumption, the total realization of divine love, you are surrendering yourself. This is more than dedication. This is more than devotion. This is really giving yourself up in a positive way, not in a negative way. This is not abandon. This is surrendersi. Surrendersi means give yourself up to in its original meaning. So, what do you give yourself up to? To the higher purpose, to the divine guidance, to the universal intention, or however you wish to call it. Surrender is an oil blend that has Roman chamomile, German chamomile, lavender, and also some other oils that make it also very strong. And on the one hand, really unyielding you strong, at the same time, totally soft, so you can overcome your ego, overcome your resistance, and totally surrender. Give yourself up to the divine guidance. This aroma helps you to let go, letting go, letting it be, is something that might remind you of the Beatles song Let It Be. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be. So, Mother Mary, of course, was the mother of Paul McCartney. She died early, but she gave this advice to young Paul McCartney. And let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer. This is the interesting part. At the point of surrender, the answer comes. At the point of surrender, the answer comes. As long as you're resisting, as long as you're struggling, fighting, the answer doesn't come. It's just, opposed forces. It's either me or the highway, like that. Surrender helps you not only to grow into the as well as it helps you to become one, universally one, establish true oneness. This is wonderful if you achieve it with a human being, but this can be achieved even on higher planes. And really, surrender is one of the best tools for achieving that oneness. Surrender is the secret of overcoming resistance, and it prevents us from experiencing the flow effect. So as long as we are resisting, it's not flow, it's blockage. And once you work with this oil blend, you are really entering into flow. Surrender is in the highest sense surrender to divine love and the entry into oneness with the source. When you are once again one with divine will, love, you experience your whole life as a single flow. Apart from aromatic breathing, again, if you're a beginner, 1 to 3 minutes, concentrated. It's quite a long time, 1 to 3 minutes if you're a beginner, 3 to 5 minutes if you are advanced. Apart from that, you apply a drop of surrender. It's bluish because of the blue matrikara or German chamomile. You apply it on the crown chakra, on the inner center of the crown chakra. If you know yoga, it's the thousand petaled lotus, the Sahasrara chakra, but it has an inner ring of 12 petals, symbolic language, of course, and that opens up to divine love. That opens up to divine guidance, to connecting to God's love or love supreme, as John Coltrane so nicely called it. Now again, you're breathing and you're taking another drop, and now you apply it on your heart center in the center of your chest. This is to connect with your own deepest divine parts deep inside your heart. This is the jewel in the heart lotus, as Buddhists call it. That helps you to connect to the jewel in the heart lotus. But also, surrender really helps you to connect to the divine in others. Because as long as you approach others with your ego, they also go into their ego reactions, and then you're at odds with others sometimes. Now, if you come in a surrendered fashion, in a loving fashion, you touch the divine in them, and then they totally respond, or they respond very differently than normally. So you might find that surrender oil blend really transforms your social interactions or also your loving relationships. So primarily crown and heart center. You can apply it on all the seven chakras because there is a great purpose in surrendering on all planes of consciousness. But for me, primarily crown chakra, divine love, love supreme, and heart chakra, the divine deep inside my own heart, the divine deep inside other people's hearts. And that's enough, but it's not enough. The oil can do much more. Take a bath, a bubble bath, without the bubbles, just with a good bathing salt, not one of the chemical ones that is like pink or extreme blue or extreme yellow that you get from the drugstore. Take a natural salt like Death Sea salt or magnesium salt, or Epsom salt is also okay, or could also take natron or basic salts, alkaline salts. And then you put a few drops of surrender blend inside, 3 drops, 5 drops, maximum 7 drops, and you stay inside the bathtub, the bathing tub, for up to an hour. And it's really like you're bathing in love and you're bathing in becoming one with the ocean of life. So that's another experience that you can have with the surrender oil blend. It will help you to experience life as one big flow, one ocean of life. It will help you to drop, become one with the ocean. After working with these two oils, if you have them, that is, you are either going to the window, gazing out into the night sky, whether it's a starry night sky or it's even cloudy, it doesn't matter, just gaze out into the darkness. Or go out on the balcony, dress up nicely, and then stay 15 to 30 minutes. Or really, if you have the possibility, go out into the forest to a T crossing as described, and then take in your perceptions. And as you will notice, there are some finer perceptions that you cannot even fathom, that you cannot describe, but still, once it's done, 15 to 30 minutes, go back and journal. Write down things that come to you. Write in your diary, write in your gratitude journal or whatever. And then go to bed and ask your subconsciousness or ask God to make you very conscious in your dreams in this particular night that has been established already from 2,500 years ago as a night in which the dreams that you dream become true. And then in the morning, you might write down these dreams. Mind you, each of the nights of Lot, each of these nights of fate, starts with the sunset on the first day and ends on sunset on the second day, in this case, 29th to 30th of November. As I told you, the nights of Lot have been in old times the preparation. Something happened to my presentation. Excuse me. Okay, I'll repair it. Okay, now I think it's good. Let's see if I can bring it in again. Yeah, takes a while. So it has been this time of November to winter solstice, 24th of November to winter solstice. If you know about astrology, you notice, well, that's Sagittarius. That's the archer who shoots into the goal, exactly into the goal. It really gives you direction, these 6 nights of Lot, and it gives you some information how to reach your target. And then you're prepared for the 12 holy nights. If you're interested, it will be a real journey for you, a real journey of consciousness, a real ride. Takes place from 21st of December 2025 till 6th of January 2026. By request, as I said, or I didn't mention it yet, primarily in the German language area, but even English language, I had more than 5,000 people already joining. The Essential Holy Nights have been taking place since 2018. And so I've also extended the program for those who are interested in it to the whole year. That means every month, in the beginning of the month, I give a live stream, a webinar, a Zoom meeting, so we can also interact and give you the main hints or the main directions for each of the months that come, all the way till next December. There is even another option some people take me up on. I offer this rarely because my time is very precious to me. Probably you know what I'm talking about. Time is the only thing you don't get back. So I offer also personal coaching, personal mentoring for a selected few, and that takes place the beginning of January, after the Holy Nights, in the end of March, beginning of April, in the end of June, beginning of July, and in the end of September, beginning of October, as you notice, whenever the new season starts. So after winter solstice, after spring equinox, after summer solstice, and after autumn equinox, we do these personal one-on-one coachings where we are working, yeah, very intentionally and in a very targeted way on what is your situation, what brings you forward, where do you wish to go, and also how do you reach where you wish to go. The registration is now open. You will be able, by using the link, to go to the registration page. There you can look everything up, the three packages that are on offer, and it starts on 21st of December, and the small package, 15 nights, 15 live streams, that's 30 hours to really jumpstart your year, is really affordable, but many people, it actually costs 97 US dollars, and it is more than it seems because I give it for 3 full years. That means you're not only once, but twice, you're thrice going through this cycle. And this will really change your life. This is why I'm very happy, and many people are very happy about this offer. It costs you a little more than $2 a session, and each session is between 1 to 2 hours. So you'll find the link in the description to this video. We are using altogether 55 essential oils and essential oil blends. So you also become really an aromatherapist because you get so many informations, so much knowledge about the oils and aromatherapy and which oils do what, and also the safety precautions, which are important. Remember Robert Tisserand, that many aromatherapists will envy you when they come across you after you do 3 years of the essential holy nights. But let's come back to the 6 nights of Lot in preparation for the 6 essential holy nights. Today is the 29th to 30th of November, sunset to sunset. The quality is love, connection, and oneness. And now it's your turn. Now, if you have the oils, work with them. If you don't have the oils, go straight to your window or your balcony or straight into the forest. Dress up, keep yourself warm, and then start writing, go to bed, and watch your dreams. You'll get very meaningful and important informations. And I see you in a few days' time for the third night of Lot, the night of protection and hope.